You do that every time.
I do it every time. It's so boring. It's like, yeah, welcome to Trakke Airlines. Hi, I'm Alec. I'm the founder of Trakke, and today I'm going to talk to you a bit about our Storr backpack. Now, we've actually made the Storr for quite a long time. I think the first one that we released was something like 2016, and it's evolved a little bit over the years, and the ones that you're seeing here in front of me are our latest evolution. Now, originally, the Storr was designed to fit carry-on dimensions. And I think it's important to note that there is no complete guideline as to a carry-on size that will fit every airline. What we tried to do was sort of average out most of the airlines around the world and figure out what would be the right size to suit everyone. Unfortunately, now all the airlines have decided to change their carry-on dimensions, and so sometimes we have to take different types of bags on different airlines. They are definitely cracking down on carry-on nowadays. But with the new Storr range, we sought to address that by bringing out other sizes. So we have the Storr 35. This is pretty much the maximum you can get on carry-on for the most generous airlines. And then we have the 25 and the 20. The difference in size in these bags is pretty minor. The 35 and the 25 are actually about the same height. The 35 is just a bit wider. And then the 20 is maybe 5 centimeters shorter, but a very, very similar width to the 25. So each of these will have a slightly different use case. And I think it's important for you to check if you fly with a particular airline quite often, definitely check what dimensions they allow. Some airlines now only let you take a personal item, which is essentially a sling or a handbag. Nonetheless, we will continue. One bag travel is the way that we love to travel. We don't like being burdened with a huge suitcase, waiting in massive lines at the baggage reclaim. We like to run through the airport with a backpack on our back, nice and fast and light. Each of these 3 bags are actually identical in all senses other than size. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to talk you through the 25, the mid-range. But just note that as I'm talking through it, all of the features that I talk about, you'll find on the 35 and the 20 as well. Let's get into it. So this is the Storr 25. And actually, this is my favorite of the Storr range. I think it's just the sweet spot. It's the perfect everyday. If you're just going to buy one bag, buy the 25 because it's a perfect size for short trips and for travel. It's going to be easier to get on carry-on with all the different airlines, especially at the moment while they're all cracking down. But if you wanted to carry it every day, taking it to work and things like that, this is actually a pretty decent size. It's not too big so that you feel like you're a turtle walking into the office. So the bag, like most of our bags, is made from Scottish-made wax canvas. Now the cloth is actually made about 60 miles from our workshop right here in Scotland. It's a really densely woven cotton that's very, very durable. And the dry finish wax gives great weather protection, which means that you can know that everything that you pack into your bag is going to be safe and dry while you're on your travels. The fabric comes in 4 colors. So we've got port here, and then we have olive, whiskey, and black. Of course, black is the color that goes with everything. It's a nice safe color, but we like to add these kind of slightly different tones and colors that you don't often see in bags, just to give something a little bit more interesting. So let's have a look around the outside of the bag. And the first thing you'll probably notice is that it's a very, very simple, clean design. We haven't put loads of seams and details and this and that and the other all over the place. We tried to keep it as lean as we could. And that is partly aesthetic, but it's also because you're carrying this stuff through airports, you're carrying it through crowded places, and actually you don't want loads and loads of loops and straps and things that are going to snag and catch and get caught. So keeping it nice and simple and clean is actually a great way to just make sure that the bag is as well protected as it can be. On the front here, you've got our removable Trakke logo. This attaches with Velcro and allows you to just rip it right off. You could leave it unbranded if you wanted to, or you could get one of our patches and personalize this a little bit. Now that works really well again, because if you have, like my wife and I, for example, both carry these bags when we're traveling, and we have the same color. So we put a different patch on each bag, and it helps us to differentiate whose bag we're picking up at any given moment. So it's a bit like a luggage label on a baggage carousel, but a bit more fun. As we move on to the side here, you'll see our water bottle pockets. Now these have been designed so that they lie flat when they're not in use, but they have a bit of expansion so that you can fit something like a 1 litre Nalgene bottle in these side pockets. You'll also notice that the bottom of the shoulder straps attaches to the bottle pocket. And the reason for this is that then when you pick up the bag, the weight of the bag will naturally self-close these side pockets. So it's really, really nice way to keep things really clean when they're not in use, but allow for that expansion and make sure that bottle is gripped nice and tight when you're wearing the bag. On the back here, first of all, we have our super, super comfy shoulder straps. Now these have mesh on the back of them to give you a little bit of breathability on your shoulders, and they're made from a really, really high quality Evazote foam. And Evazote foam is great because over time, as you wear it with all of that weight on your shoulders, Evazote maintains its memory. So it's not going to sort of go super flat and be squished like a pancake after 2 years. It's going to maintain that bounce and that springiness that is going to keep it comfortable for many, many years to come. You'll also see that we have a bit of air mesh and more of that Evazote foam right here on the back. This just stops your back from getting so sweaty. There's a bit of an air channel up the middle just to keep your spine nice and cool. At the end of the shoulder straps here, you'll see the beautiful Cobra frame buckles. I bang on about Cobra buckles every single video that we make, but let me tell you, they are super cool. These are CNC machined in Austria from aluminium. They're really, really strong. They're massively over spec for a bag. They're never ever going to break, and they adjust so nicely. It is a buttery, buttery, buttery smooth adjustment that I think you will love. Also on the straps here, you can see that we have this little strap keeper. This is just so that when you've tightened up your bag and you have these flappy bits of webbing at the end, you can keep those nice and neat and tidy so that you're not snagging on everyone as you run through the airport trying to catch a flight. At the side here, you can see this big old YKK AquaGuard zip. Now this is a weather-resistant zip that's going to protect the contents from any precipitation in the air. And it is a full zip all the way down that accesses the external access laptop sleeve. So in this bag, in the 25, you can fit a 16-inch MacBook. It's the same with the Storr 35, and I think the 20 will fit a 14-inch MacBook because it's a little bit smaller. That zip just isn't quite as big. The laptop sleeve itself is padded at the back and the front, so your laptop's going to be nice and protected, and your back is going to be supported and protected from any jabby bits that you'd store in your backpack. Finally, up at the top here, you can see this super, super large grab handle. It's there to be grabbed. It's there to make sure that when you're in a rush, you're getting off the train, the doors are about to close, it's right there. You can just grab onto it and run out of the door without having to worry about it. So this is a really nice feature, and we purposefully made it nice and big and wide so it's easy to grab even with your eyes closed. So let's have a little look at some of the storage that this bag offers. Right here on the front panel, you have this big zip that gives you access to the front admin panel. Now this is great. Firstly, look at that access. I mean, you can see our orange liner here, just making sure it's nice and bright inside so you can see what you need to find. There's a little bit of depth in this pocket as well. So even if your bag's full, there's room to stash things down in here. And then inside this pocket, there are a few different types of organization. Firstly, you have this, the gear sling. Now, if you have seen our gear sling before, you'll know that you can wear this as a crossbody bag. And it's a great way to do 1.5 bag travel, where you have your backpack on your back. And that's the thing that's going to carry all of your clothes, and you're going to stick it in the overhead locker on the plane. The gear sling, meanwhile, is going to be worn on your body, and it might have all of the things that you're going to take to the seat with you on the plane. So maybe your Kindle, your headphones, things like that. But as you can see here, it's designed so that if you want to, you can just stash this back in your bag really, really quickly with these little attachment points, or whip it out and stick it over the shoulder. So this is a super nice feature. You can also attach this on the inside of the bag, and I'll show you a bit more about that in a moment. Underneath here, you can see these mesh pockets. These are fixed into the front pocket. They give you a nice bit of organization. And because they are made of mesh, it's really easy to see what you've stashed inside. Finally, there's a little key clip right here, so you can stash your keys or anything else that you just want to keep on a leash, so it doesn't go walkies if you open your pocket and the bag's on the side. So now it's time to look into the main compartment. And the really cool thing that I love about this bag is it has clamshell opening. So it kind of opens like a suitcase, and that makes it really easy to pack, really easy to unpack, really easy to see what you've packed, or indeed what you forgot to pack. So I really love this opening. Let's take a look. Look at this interior. Of course, the first thing you'll see inside is our beautiful orange super dry canvas that's bringing light into the bag, making it easy to see. But it's also got a weatherproof coating, a bit like the outer. It has a dry finish wax on it, and that means that your bag is getting 2 layers of protection in the areas that it needs it most, like on the front panel and on the back panel to protect that laptop. The main compartment, as you can see here, is really just one nice big open compartment. And that's because when we're traveling, we love to use packing cubes. If you've never heard of packing cubes, look them up, but they will change the way you travel forever. In fact, I can probably show you some. 2 seconds. These are packing cubes. Essentially, they are small bags that you put inside your big bag. But this one, for example, I would stick all of my clothes into. This one, I might stick t-shirts, underwear, things like that. That's a bit smaller. And then these fit really, really neatly inside the bag like this. So it's a really nice system for packing. It keeps your clothes nice and organized. It keeps the inside of your bag nice and organized so that every time you open it, everything doesn't fall all over the place. And it also keeps your clothes a little bit more crease-free than you would normally find. When you stuff it all in your bag, you end up putting it on and you've got creases everywhere. When you pack into these, it just keeps everything a little bit nicer and smarter. So good little travel hack there. Get yourself some packing cubes. These are our fold-in clamshells. We also do a more simple set, but these are the ones that I absolutely love when I'm traveling. I'm just going to flip it around, and you'll see here that we have a little bit of organization in the front. We have a zip pocket up here that runs down to about here, and we have a zip pocket here that runs across the way. You'll notice that these zips are oriented in different directions, and there is actually a reason for us doing that. The top zip means that you can just open the very top of your bag, peek inside, and access this pocket very nice and easily. It's a bit smaller, so it's for those small, quick access items that you might need on the go. Whereas this pocket here is a little bit larger. I often use this for my laundry when I'm on the move, so I stick all my dirty stuff in there. But the reason that the zip is this way is obviously because it's further down the bag. It allows you to open just the side edge of the zip. So you can get just down here, and then you can get access to this pocket from the side without opening the whole bag and lifting this lid right up. So I think that's a really nice little detail. It just gives you more access options. I should also show you here that these are the clips that you can attach your gear sling to on the inside of the bag. That obviously makes it a little bit harder to access them, but the nice thing on the back here is that you can clip your gear in the top, and actually they have a neat little feature where you can stack them too high. So you can clip a second gear onto your first, and that allows you to have a full admin section on the back of this bag, which can be really handy. If you're the kind of person who likes to be super organized and there's a pocket for every single thing that you carry, then this is a really nice way to achieve that with this bag. It just gives you a bit of a more modular approach to your packing. So this is the Storr 25. Now, everyone travels differently. Everyone likes to carry a different amount of stuff. So I can only really speak for myself. I like to travel with relatively little stuff. And actually, I managed to go to Italy in the summer for 2 weeks with one of these about a year and a half ago. And it was an absolute dream. I could fit everything that I needed. You know, summer weather means that you don't really need quite such bulky clothes. You can get away with shorts and sandals and things like that. But still, this was great. And I think the beauty of carrying a backpack when you're traveling, rather than a rolly suitcase or anything like that, is it just makes life so much easier. Your bag is on your back, where I think it feels a little bit more safe and secure. You're not leaving it on the ground and wandering off and doing something. It's staying on your back, and therefore it's with you at all times and perhaps less likely to be stolen or something like that. It also allows you to travel a bit more easily. I mean, we've all been on a crowded train or plane where you're trying to wheel something through a crowd of people, and it's just an absolute nightmare. Obviously, a backpack makes life a lot easier in that sense. I particularly like it when I completely misjudge the time of my flight and I end up having to run from one side of Amsterdam airport to the other side, which if you've ever been, you'll know that it's absolutely enormous. It's like running a marathon between two different terminals. Certainly, I was pretty glad to have a backpack on then and not a rolly suitcase. So that's how I like to travel. I think you would like it too. And certainly the Storr 25 is a great option for that. I'm just going to bring in the other sizes and then we'll just have a little chat about some of the differences. The 35, as I said earlier, it's 10 litres bigger. So if you carry more stuff, this is a good option. It certainly was just about the right size to fit on most airlines. That might be a little bit different now. I think one of the nice things with a canvas backpack is that it's also a soft-sided bag. So if you do get challenged, you can kind of like cram it into the measuring bucket. What do they call them? What, the measuring bucket? What do they call those things? What do you call the thing at an airport? Okay. The hand luggage measurer. You know those like baskets that you see at the front of a queue in the airport where you're meant to test that your bag meets their requirements. Obviously we never voluntarily use one of those, only when forced. But if you are forced, I think you could definitely squish this in and it would work for you. So yes, maybe on the larger size, but certainly still a very appropriate size for short haul travel and things like that. We then of course have the 20. Now the 20 is on the much smaller end of the spectrum. I think for most people, this is less aimed at serious travel and more at like a long weekend, bit of a weekender, an overnighter, a short work trip, something like that. But that 20 litre size is a really, really nice size. Great for taking to the gym, great for sticking a pair of shoes or, a spare change of clothes or something like that. So this is definitely more on the EDC end. The 25 is going to bridge the gap between EDC and travel. And this is definitely towards the more travel end. I don't think you'd be using the 35 as your daily carry. I certainly wouldn't. That's just me. So that is the Storr backpack. Like all of our bags, these are handmade right here in Scotland. They're actually made 10 meters that way, 20 meters that way, maybe. Very, very close to where I'm standing right now. We have an in-house team. We have very, very carefully sourced materials. We try and spec the best quality that we can find. Most of the materials we're using are British made. These things are made to an incredibly high standard, and we really believe in them. And because of that, we back everything with our lifetime guarantee. So if you're a serious traveler, you're the kind of person who likes to use and abuse your gear, that lifetime guarantee is going to give you a bit of peace of mind that even if something goes wrong on the road, we've got your back. Which size would you use? Which bag is your favorite? Which color do you like? What features do you like the most? We would love to hear what you think down in the comments. Please do like and subscribe. All of your likes make us feel really good. And thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.